Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 6. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am, as always. Still slightly getting over my illness here, so I just got a little bit of water here to keep me hydrated as we go through our episode today. But anywho, so I hope you guys did enjoy the last episode. If you haven't caught it, definitely recommend going back and checking it out. We dove into the Quarry mod, as well as looking into the digital miner from Mechanism, which was really cool. I thought it was a great experience, and I think the digital miner really is the kind of the icing on the cake. That's the one you're going to want to go with. It offers the most functionality. It allows you to pinpoint what ores you exactly want. So that is definitely what I would recommend. The quarry itself is pretty cool, but it does take a lot of resources to get it up and going, and it's not really that flexible with defining what you want from it. But I actually currently have our digital miner here in our inventory, because as you guys might have realized with this, after a period of time in the same spot, you do need to move it, because it obviously extinguishes all the resources that are in that radius. So, I have it in my inventory. I collected a lot of gold there. We can go into our inventory, this one right here. We had a lot more than that because, well, it's lower now because I actually got crafted up another extra disc for our refined storage. And I think this is the highest tier that we are going to get to, at least for the time being. Now, if we take a look at our discs here, we obviously have our fluid storage disc, which is full up with the brine for our process. You guys know that. But we also have two of these 256K storage discs. And this one is a little bit lower now, but it was full before I started crafting some stuff up. And this one is already getting, you know, relatively full in itself. It's not fully there, but it's about halfway. If we take out the fluid one, we could see overall of our 512K storage, we have 301 used up, which, I mean, that's still plenty of space. Don't get me wrong. But I actually probably should put this in a different location. Maybe I can get another disk drive going and I can put that separately so it's not interfering with this. Let's actually try that really quick. Now I'm kind of curious. All right, so I got it hooked up here. Another disk drive. It seems to be working just fine. We're going to have this one be specifically for fluids because of how like large this ultimately ends up being. I'd much rather store this stuff over here. So that's what we'll do. We'll have this stored there, and then this is just going to be for items, and we keep a little bit better track of it there. I think we can actually change this to fluid type. I don't think we could set the priority on it, but we only want fluids to go into here. Obviously, this one's by default set to items. Don't know if that much matters, but hey, it makes me feel a little bit better. Anywho, so we're set up here. We have some dividing between the two now, which I obviously like a lot. More organization is always the best. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to extra discs. So I actually did run into an interesting situation with extra discs and our refined storage setup. So if you guys have been keeping up with any of our streams, you might have known recently we had some problems crafting up via refined storage. Well, what I came to realize is that for some of the extra discs, like let's say this 256K storage right here, we have this recipe right here. Utilizing a lot of refined storage pieces to get this extra discs piece. But you plop it in here, and before it would just show normally. However, now there's this extra switch button, which gives you an option to either craft the one from extra storage or from extra discs. And I think that's where our issue came from, is which one you're creating. And it's funny because extra storage isn't even, like, the discs aren't part of the extra storage anymore. As you see, extra storage mainly encapsulates a lot of these things here, a lot of these blocks and crafters, whereas all of the recipes in here for these different storage parts are from extra discs. So what I am saying is, since these are all extra discs, just go back and make sure that all of your recipes are for extra discs, and make sure that you are crafting the right one or selecting the right one when you're putting it into a pattern. That's what we had to go back and do for ours. and I think we're in a better spot now. I think we have it set up to a good place where we can auto craft a lot of those things or just request craft. But we do have I think it is a 65 million storage part right here, which is insane. It took a lot of resources. I did craft all of those off camera via all of the auto crafting that we have. And even still, it had to sit for probably about 35, 40 minutes to get everything crafted up because of the high intensity resource cost. It took a lot of glass. We had our silicone stuff running for a long time. I collected more sand to get those running even more, to get more silicone. But anyway, I think this is going to be our last stop with these just because, I mean, it's hard to go any higher than that. So do we have an advanced storage housing? That we do. Oh, we are not in a, we're not in our normal crafting here, so we do need to craft up one of these bad boys, which should not be too hard. We'll get that crafted up here. It should be relatively quick, and then we'll do that. We'll take our part itself, put it in the disk, and there we go. We now have a 65 million storage disk. And if we come in here, as you guys can see, if we put this in, let's see, what is it? It should be about 66 million when I put this in. Yeah, 66 million. That's just insane. I mean, look at that drop. It goes from that to just nothing. You can't even see there's so much available storage. It literally doesn't even have a percentage ticked off on the box yet with what we have in there. And we have 301,000 items chilling in our system right now. That is insane, but awesome at the same time. I'm super glad that we could get to this point. I would have loved to go even higher, but just the amount of resources and the ultimate like payback from it just wasn't really worth it. This will last us a long time. We could still obviously work towards some of those higher ones, but it is going to take a lot of resources and a decent amount of time. So, but yeah, we got that set up, which is cool. I am super thrilled with it, and we're good to keep moving on. Now, the other thing I actually did end up doing is over here, we have our crafter tier 3 that is going through all of our different mystical agriculture setup stuff. What I end up doing is going and getting a creative exporter going along, well, I've also created a creative importer as well, but the creative exporter is one thing that I got up and going, and these things are really, really cool to utilize and to make up. Now, I did touch base on them in the update couple episodes ago, but I haven't fully dove into them. But this is how you actually craft them up. Pretty straightforward. You do need blocks of netherite in order to do either or. So they are relatively expensive there. And then you do need a dragon head. But you can do this by getting mystical agriculture set up and getting dragon egg essence. So I do have some dragon seeds going right now. We're getting a bunch of this dragon essence. And that's how I can make the skulls in order to be able to make, or the heads, I should say, to make these. And they're extremely efficient. Like, you don't need a stack upgrade for them that's built in, and you don't need to put speed upgrades in them. You can, but it won't even let you. It's creative, so it has stack and speed built into it automatically, so you should be good to go. As you can see, I put in an importer off of our ultimate smelting factory over here, and I'll just show you how quickly it takes things out without having any additional upgrades to it. Do we have any, what do we got in here? We got some cobblestone. I'll take some cobblestone and throw it in here for you guys. But it doesn't even have a chance to sit in the output inventory. It's automatically grabbed and kicked back into our system. And just like that, we're done. Now, I do want to get another one of these ultimate smelting factories up and going, so we might actually have that on the docket for today. But the other thing I actually did go ahead and do as well, as you might notice, is I went ahead and dyed everything purple for the most part, because purple is my favorite color. And I really like it to be purple. All you gotta do is take whatever dye you choose and just right click on the machine with it, and it should dye it that color. So anyway, we are rambling on quite a bit here in today's episode. It's always so hard. I always just want to talk and show you guys things and whatnot, and it's not always necessarily building stuff. So, but you might be wondering, what are we doing today? Well, I thought we would take a little different turn on things and do something that I had talked about previously that we just never ultimately got around to getting set up, which is over here in our diner. So it's kind of a pitiful diner at this point. We don't really have much set up. So why don't we actually get into cooking for blockheads? I think it would be really cool to do. I've done it before. It's a great mod. It's not extremely useful in a pack where you, what am I trying to say? Like a very, very hardcore survival where food is more needed. In this pack, our food is not like super crazy needed. You don't need to rely on it a lot, but at the same time, if you're using ore excavation, it's good to have so you can replenish your hunger and get that extra saturation. That's why we have our automated bacon cheeseburger farm, or bacon cheeseburger process, I should say, up and going. But there's plenty of other food choices that you could get from this, which is really cool. And I think it would be a fun time to get some stuff set up. Maybe tinker in some different dishes, either in this episode or the next one, and just test the waters, because there is a lot of cool stuff that comes with cooking for blockheads and Pam's Harvest Craft, which kind of goes hand in hand with it. So we're gonna take a look at cooking for blockheads here. You guys might recognize the name. For one, it being around for some time now, but also this is what we get the sinks that we utilize for infinite water sources from, is cooking for blockheads. So we'll definitely want a sink to begin with. We'll also want a cooking table as well. This enables certain crafting abilities, but we do need to get a Cooking for Blockheads 2 book, which obviously you need the first one for. And in order to get the first one, we just need to smelt a book, which is kind of funny that that would be the case. So what makes the most sense? I guess we'll hop over here and just throw a book into our furnace here. Now you guys might notice too that I am still don't have any of the music going currently. I kind of been vibing without the music lately. I feel like it's just a little bit of a distraction that we don't need. And it would be nice for like time-lapse things and such, but I don't really do time-lapses that often, so I feel like music could take away very easily from things. I want to have a nice kind of conversation. I want to talk to you guys, you know, and I don't want the music to get to interfere with that. But anywho, so we got our book cooked up here. Let's go back to cooking for blockheads. And let's get our table up and going. Once we actually upgrade to our second tier, we do need crafting tables. I'm actually kind of surprised I don't have crafting tables pre-built into our refined storage system, but that's okay. So we got our table, our sink. We're definitely going to want an oven. Do we have to have black stained glass? It looks like we have to have some black stained glass. All right, we'll get that crafted up. Shouldn't be too hard to do. There we go. We're going to have to make an oven. And there we go. Got that. We already have our sink. You have different countertop components here. So just normal countertops, corner countertops, kitchen cabinets, which go above the countertops. We have a fridge. We'll get a fridge up and going here. Do need an iron door, a couple iron doors, because we're definitely going to want to make 2 fridges. And I'll show you just in a second here why that is. Ooh, they did actually add in a hanging kitchen corner. I did not realize that that was added in. That's really nice to have. But we are going to want to get a decent amount of these. Now, unfortunately, the one thing, I feel like the one downside to cooking for blockheads is that there is not a wide range of colors that you could use for your counters, for your cabinets / counters. It's all pretty much going to be the same exact texture as it has been for quite some time now. So a little bit unfortunate, but I think it still does look relatively good. So we'll get a few of those. We're also going to want a corner probably, and maybe some overhanging ones. We'll grab a couple of those as well, like 3 of those. And I don't think we need the corner one just yet. So the other thing then we're going to need, I know we're crafting up a bunch of stuff, but we're going to want some flooring as well. The cool thing about cooking for blockheads and this whole entire kitchen setup is that it actually can become a multi-block. And it says it right here, multi-block kitchen. So it connects the kitchen blocks over certain distances, which is really nice. So I think there's a couple different ways you could actually make this. The kitchen floor itself, just on its own, is easy enough to make. You could just do it with concrete. Or honestly, if you want to do blocks of quartz and blocks of coal, you could do that as well. We're probably not going to need that much, so I'm just going to utilize that. Again, I would probably recommend using concrete. A little bit better saver on the resources that you're using. So we're going to put it in all through here along the corner. And we're just going to want to put it down just like so. And we'll probably have it go all the way to the end here. Why not? We'll make this whole entire wall nice and connected. And then what we could also do too, which I'll show you in a little bit, is we can connect this into our refined storage system so that it actually will recognize if we have any food over here. We can easily grab it from our refined storage system as well. So this should do. That should be enough flooring. So let's start with the main item here is our sink. In any kitchen, the sink is going to be one of your big focal points. Typically, you'll see in kitchens, actually, like a sink is facing towards a window or facing out towards like a living space, because whenever you're doing the dishes, they want you to be able to be looking at either outside to something nice or into a living area. So if you're watching children or something like that, it's facing in that direction. So we're going to actually take our sink here. We're going to face it outwards because I feel like we have a decent, nice view of a couple trees here. And we can see our bee sanctuary just over in the distance over there. I think that's going to look really, really nice. So moving right along, we got some just normal countertops. I'm going to put them there. We have our normal cooking table. I'm going to take this and put it right here. This then allows us to make a whole bunch of different recipes. And I don't know, I think there are certain things that are very specific to this Cooking for Blockheads interface that you couldn't necessarily do just through like JEI crafting, I think. So we'll get this put down just right there. I'll put another counter. Now right here, I'm thinking it would make the most sense to put our fridge, so it lines up with this pillar here and it's not in the way. So we'll put our fridge down just like so. And this is really cool. You can actually store frozen stuff in here if you wanted to. Now, obviously, frozen stuff within Minecraft isn't going to go bad. That functionality isn't cooked into it. Pun intended. Maybe not. But the functionality isn't there, so it doesn't really much matter. But it's kind of cool because you could put frozen stuff in here, supply it power, and it'll keep it cool. I'll get to that in just a second. We're getting everything placed down first. So now we do have our oven. I think our oven makes sense to go over here on the end. And we do have a normal counter. Do we have our corner here? That we do. We'll put the corner in there to make it look nice. Maybe we'll put something right there. And then we'll kind of wrap off the end here with just a few more countertops. I think these will look really, really good. We do need some more chests, though. I really should make up a whole bunch of chests, because we do utilize a decent amount of them. All right, cool beans. So let's get our countertop going here. How many do we need? I think maybe one more. I made 2, but that's fine. And then we'll put the corner in there just like so as well. Not like that. Come on, my guy. I think just like so. And then if we wanted to, we could have that loop around just like that. That does look really nice. This is very, very nice. I like it a lot. And then we do have these hanging cabinets that we could put in. We could put one there, one there. I don't know if we really necessarily want any in the glass because then obviously it's obstructing it. We could change the design of this a little bit if we wanted to, but I think for the time being, it's okay. We really don't need that much hanging space for our cabinets. I do want to make one more normal counter here and throw it on the end just like so, just to wrap everything out. So there we go. There is our setup. Really, really cool. I'm digging it a lot, and I hope you guys are liking it as well. So there's a few additional things that we have to craft up. We want a heating unit, a ice unit, and we can also get a preservation chamber, but I think it's fine. Let's get the heating unit. So we are going to need a comparator here. Pretty straightforward. We'll get the heating unit. And then finally, we need the ice unit, which is going to take another comparator, but again, not too bad. Now, realistically for you guys, this would make sense to get up and going these items right at the start of your gameplay, but for us, you know, we are a little bit further. All you got to do is take these units and then right-click them onto the respective items. And as you can see, it gives them... Well, the ice unit provides snow and ice to recipes, which is actually really nice. So I was a little bit mixed up when I said before. The power provision goes to the heating unit on the oven. So you don't have to utilize coal or wood to heat your items. You can just use power. The ice unit actually provides snow and ice to recipes, and as long as it's connected to the multi-block, you can actually use it within the cooking here, which is really, really nice. And everything's hooked up to the multi-block, so we should be set. Now, the other thing we are going to want to do is get a little bit of power to this oven. So let's take a peek at our power mod and get a gate on there. This one should be fine, just a little one. I guess we could put it right there on the front, and that'll give it power. We probably could hide it somewhere if we wanted to, like on the bottom or on the back or something like that, but I think it looks perfectly fine as is. So, with that being said, as you can see, this is getting power, and that's how you can utilize it. You can also put a bunch of the baking ware in here as well, which is awesome. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some food items gathered together, get them set up here. We're going to craft up 1 or 2 additional things, but I'm going to do that off camera as well, because I feel like we've been going for a pretty long time here of just me talking and running through things. So I'll get all those things collected together, and when we come back, we'll start crafting up some cool dishes from cooking for blockheads. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, so I've been doing a little bit of work here, getting some stuff prepped. Of course, it's nighttime. It would be nighttime right when I start recording again here. Let's just sleep through the night. So I went ahead and I got some stuff prepped together. We are ready to go. For the most part, there was one thing I did run into, which is actually kind of interesting. So I thought that we would be able to hook this into our refined storage system and at least be able to access all of the food that we already have within our refined storage system in our cooking for blockhead setup. For whatever reason, it's not working that way for me. I tried everything. I tried connecting it to the multi-block and hooking up like external storage, importer, exporter. None of it worked. I also then tried to hook directly to our cooking table here, and that didn't work either. So I don't know. I think the last time I did this, I actually used applied energistics instead, and it seemed to work. But the whole idea behind cooking for blockheads is to give people a more immersive experience into cooking. So I guess it makes sense that, you know, you wouldn't necessarily hook it in, and you would more so separate all of the food that you're gathering and putting it away where you normally would put it away in a household. So I did go ahead and crafted up a couple more things. I crafted up a toaster, which is pretty straightforward to make. We're going to throw this, I think, right here. I think that would be a nice spot for our toaster. Now, this does take bread, and it turns it into toast. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. Do we not have any bread? I guess we don't. Well, we can make some up real quick here. We could throw it in there, and it's just going to work its magic. I think it takes a hot second, and then it'll pop it out for us, and then we'll have some fresh toasted bread. Now, the other thing I did get going is a fruit basket. I thought this would be very, very nice to have. I think we'll actually put it right here, right next to our fridge and between our toaster. I don't think... Oh, we actually have to put it down. I am sorry. You actually have to click it down. It's a little bit more immersive than I thought even, so... But we have a fruit basket. This is, again, very, very easy to make up. And what we're going to do is take some fruits and put them in there. Some fruits and berries, I should say. So we got some fruits and berries, and they do actually put the textures on the top side. That's why it's nice to have. Now, there's a couple other things that we could get up and going. I don't think they're necessary for us, but if you wanted to do them, you definitely could. So you do have a tool rack, which is nice, so you can store certain tools on there. We definitely could add that in if we really wanted to. We got the toaster going. We're going to get to this in just a second here. A spice rack if you want to store some spices. The fruit basket, which we did get up and going, and that's pretty much the bulk of it. So our bread should just be about done here. So the other thing I did want to show you guys is how this then works. Ooh, let's grab our bread. Oh, it went right into our inventory. So going into here, it pops up with a bunch of recipes because we have a bunch of stuff in our inventory currently. But if we didn't have all this stuff in our inventory, it wouldn't show up like this. You wouldn't have all these different things. And I could show you that real quick here. If we we'll just grab this kitchen cabinet because we're not using it. And it's not connected to the multi-block. So we'll put those away for a second. If we come back over here, we don't have as much showing in here. We have a few things from our fruit basket. And that's what I want to show you guys, is that the whole multi-block connects up and you can utilize items that are placed in different parts of the multi-block in your cooking recipes. And it'll show you what you can actually make. And if it does take a tool. Like this one right here, it takes some kind of tool, takes a cutting board. And we actually don't have that. We should get that up and going here. But then what we could do is we could take these components and just throw them in a drawer here, in a counter. And then we come over here and it's unlocked a few more items. Not much because it was just a few things, but still it's really, really convenient to have up and going. So we're going to get rid of this bad boy and put that away. Now the last part, right? The last thing I actually kind of want to do, or maybe make one dish, but before that, is talk on the milk jar and the cow in a jar. So the milk jar will actually provide milk to recipes. However, you do need to replenish it over time. So what I recommend doing is getting a cow in a jar. Now you might be wondering how you do that. Well, it is actually pretty straightforward. It lays it out for you here. You do need a milk jar. You do need a cow. Give it a block of space, and then you drop an anvil on it, and it literally pushes the cow into the milk jar. So we are going to need an anvil. Because I do not have one on hand. There we go. And we should have everything that we need. We do actually need to make up the milk jar. Almost forgot that. That would be useful. It's not hat milk. It's cooking for blockheads. And then it's our milk jar. We did use up some glass, though. We need to craft up a little bit more glass. That should just take a second here. There we go. And then all we need is a location to do it. So let's get a good location going here. And I'll show you guys how I recommend doing it and getting it set up so that, that you're guaranteed here. So all we're going to do is dig down just like so. Give it plenty of space. Then you're going to put your milk jar down on the bottom. You're then going to get your cow to be down in this hole as well somehow. For us, we have it in our mob imprisonment tool, so I'll just throw him down there. And then all you got to do is take your anvil, and you get your anvil back, so keep that in mind. And there we go. We now have our cow in a jar. And then what we can do with this, obviously, is we're going to take it back and set it up on our multi-block, and you guys will get to see something pretty cool. Let's see, where does it make sense to have our milk jar? Let's put it right here, right next to our fridge. And as you can see, we have our little cow inside, and then over a period of time, you see a little white layer at the bottom. That is obviously the milk. And as you can see by the info right at the top there, we are gaining milk, which is awesome. And this does hold 32 buckets of milk, which is really nice. And then once we get more milk in here, we can actually start crafting up certain recipes that do require us to have milk, which again is pretty cool. So it might actually make sense to get this tool rack going and get this put in place. Now the only thing with this, I'm not sure, that is not where we want it. I don't know if, I think it'll work as long as it's above a counter in some location. So we could put our tool rack right there and be good to go. Then we're going to want to hop back over to Pam's here. Just Pam. Pam. I think I can help with the whole Pam situation. And all we got to do is throw that right on there. And we should be able to craft up some of those things that required it. Yep. We also need like mixing bowls and rollers and all that fun stuff. Like you need a good amount of tools. Well, you don't need a good amount of tools if you don't want to get into certain things, but it's definitely useful to have a lot of these. Oopsies, didn't mean to do that. I want a roller. Gotta keep an eye out for those overlapping recipes. And we actually need another rack here. So if we go to cooking for blockheads, and we'll get this, another tool rack, another racks on racks, throw that there, and there we go. We should actually be able to craft up most everything, which is cool. And as you can see here, we are able to craft up cream and butter because now we have a supply of milk, which is so cool. We can even craft up yogurt, which is really nice. Now, if we have some meat, we could actually throw it in the fridge here, and we could have it be used for certain things as well. So let's grab a good amount of it. We have a bunch stored up. We have a bunch of beef stored up in our system here. And let's throw a bunch of the raw beef here into our fridge. And I can show you guys how this then works. So with that beef in there, we have way more options that open up for us, including the ground beef. So this is actually an option that we had with making our hamburger, and we do need a grinder to actually do it, which I don't think we have a grinder going, do we? Don't think we do. So am I completely overlooking it? I completely misspelled it. That's why. Haha, nice going. There we go. Take this and we'll add it to our tool rack, and we should be able to craft up ground beef if we wanted to, which is really nice because what you could do is craft up some ground beef, right? And then that could open some additional options for you if it leads to additional recipes. So like if we had some more stuff here, we could even make up some meatloaf. Like if we had some bread in here, maybe it would make sense for us to get some bread going. We do have quite a bit of wheat here. So let's take a good amount of this. And where can we store this? We just need to store it down somewhere. So we'll put it right here. We'll put some wheat over there. And then what we should be able to do, as you see here, is we can craft up some bread. Hang on, if I click on it properly here. Just like so, crafting up some bread. It's in our inventory. With that bread and the ground beef that is in the system, we can make ourselves some meatloaf if we had some bakeware. I think I put the wrong thing in here. I think this is supposed to be bakeware, and I put a juicer in there. Let's get some bakeware. That is my bad. That is the other nice thing, is you can actually store certain tools in here. So we have everything stored in here, including our bakeware. Now that we have it there, we should be able to craft us up some meatloaf. So there we go. That is how we do it. This meatloaf is actually pretty nice. Pretty filling, good saturation, really good saturation. Wow. So there we go, guys. That is going to do it for cooking for blockheads. Awesome setup. I'm going to add more stuff to this as we go. This is not going to be a one and done deal. I am going to continuously add more food to it. I might even get up and going some fruit trees so we could get some fruit production, maybe get some juices and things like that going. We do have coffee beans that we could always make coffee with as well. This is an awesome mod. I love it a lot. I love it when it's added into a mod pack, and it's really fun and extremely useful, especially in those packs that are a little bit more hardcore focused, a little bit more survivalist focused than necessarily a kitchen sink pack, like all the mods. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below. Better yet, leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking on this series. If there's anything specific you would like to see, we do have plenty more that is coming down the pipeline. Plenty of things that we put on the back burner that are going to come full circle and we are going to get back to. So don't you guys worry on that perspective. If you are new here, definitely hit that subscribe button and bell notification. I'll let you know every single time a new episode is posted to the channel. I do stream over on Twitch on Mondays and Fridays at about 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in checking out a stream, the link is in the description down below, along with the link to the Discord where you can stay up to date with everything that is happening here on the channel and with the stream as well. Also, it's a great place to hang out, ask questions around the pack or whatever it may be. We're slowly but surely building a cool community over there, so I'm excited to see where it is going. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it so very much. I'll catch you all in the next episode. Take it easy.